Hi, my name's Ryan. This is my wife, Renee. We have 3 kids, Charlie, who's 5, Kate Louise is 3, and Camille is 2 months old.
Ryan and I got married in 2011. We had been dating about 6-7 years before that, so we knew right away that we wanted to start a family. We started trying about 6 months after we were married. About 6 months later, nothing was happening. So we went to the doctor and we figured out there were some bigger issues there. So we were sent to a fertility specialist and pretty quickly started with different fertility cycles, one resulting in pregnancy that we lost. And then we were told we needed to go to in vitro fertilization, IVF. IVF was a very big step, a very big financial burden and emotional burden. And Ryan and I went through 4.5 rounds of IVF. We had embryos frozen. We did a few fresh cycles. And after our last miscarriage, there was no explanation for it. And we kind of got to a point where we didn't know what we were going to do.
All of the shots, the emotions of going through all the treatments was just a total burden for her, and not much I could do, and I could just watch that being drained out of her body. So that was one of the another final reason that made us lean heavily towards going to adoption.
Ryan and I both agreed that we would do anything to be parents. We would pray, and whatever his plan A was going to turn into our plan A.
A few years after doing the IVF medical treatment and we started praying, we turned towards the adoption route. And I think the year was 2014, we signed up to become adoptive parents. And so we knew that there was a 100% chance we would eventually have a child. We just didn't know when. And then about 8-9 months later in 2015, we get a phone call.
It was about 7 p.m. that there was a little boy that was born. He was 3 hours old. And his birth mother and father had chosen Ryan and I to be his parents. Literally, we were a single couple, and then the next day we had a child in our hands, and it was just the most amazing thing ever. So in May of 2017, we were just living our lives, just Renee, myself, and Charlie, one kid rocking and rolling, and we get a phone call one mid-morning, and a baby girl has been born, and we were not signed up to become adoptive parents again. And Renee calls me. I'm riding down the road, leaving a meeting, and I said, we're not getting any younger. Let's do this. And we prayed about it. It was, part of God's plan A that we just knew all along. And we jumped in the car, and 2 days later, we went to go meet sweet little Kate Louise. And suddenly, we became a family of 4. Around December of 2019, Ryan and I got another phone call from the agency that Kate Louise's birth mom was pregnant, and she was due in 3 weeks with a little girl and wanted us to be the parents of that baby. It was a shell shock, but we said, let's do this. And the day she was born, the adoption did not go through. We were heartbroken, but God had bigger plans. We didn't know at the time, but fast forward to October of 2020, we get a call from Charlie's birth mom, and she's pregnant. And she and I spoke on the phone about it and just told her whatever her wishes would be, Ryan and I would be open to taking on another child. And I didn't know her well before, but that she went back and forth on her decision, which was really hard. And I got to be her support in that time. And we didn't know up until the day that she delivered if we would be parents or not. But as my son's birth mom, I felt I owed it to her just as a human. And I felt like God was giving us the opportunity to kind of just love on her for what she gave us. February of 2021, she invited me to go to a doctor's appointment. And that's when it kind of started being real that she may do this. And so we talked about it, and I went to a doctor's appointment with her. And she was due at the beginning of March. And 3 days after that appointment, her water broke. So I left my office, went to the hospital. I actually, with COVID, she can only have one person with her. And she asked me to be there with her the whole time. And so she labored for 24 hours, and I just think it was a God thing I got to pour into her. She is an amazing human and has given us our third child, Camille.
God has taught us to have a tremendous amount of trust as we've gone through this journey. We never knew what was going to happen, how long things were going to take, and I think that also brought us a lot of patience as we went through those roller coasters up and down, and God's timing was His plan.
For anyone watching that is going through the journey of infertility, whether you're just starting or pretty far into it like we were, pour into your spouse at this time. You can either be torn apart or much stronger. I would also find a group of people that know exactly what you're going through to pour into. It helps so much to talk to people who love Jesus and also know what you're going through. And if anyone is watching this that is thinking about adoption, don't give up. God has a plan. There is something on the other side for you. We have fully trusted God after everything we've been through, and we are just thrilled that this is the way this story turned out.